Can you imagine receiving a gift so beautiful, yet so dangerous? Ada was a young Nigerian woman, calm and respectful. She worked as a tailor in Lagos and was known for her simple lifestyle. When she got married to Tunde, everyone in their church celebrated her because she had waited patiently for many years before finding the right man. During the wedding, Ada received many gifts from friends and relatives. There were boxes, envelopes, and different packages. One gift stood out, a small red box tied with a golden ribbon. The card attached had no name, but Ada felt drawn to it. She opened it and found a beautiful gold necklace inside. It sparkled even under the low lights of the hall. Everyone admired it. Tunde smiled and said, "It suits you perfectly." Ada placed it around her neck immediately. The moment it touched her skin, she felt a strange chill. She ignored it and told herself it was just excitement. Throughout the night, people complimented her beauty. She wore the necklace proudly. After the wedding, Ada tried to remove the necklace before sleeping. She held the clasp and pulled, but it didn't move. She asked Tunde to help her, thinking it was just tight. He tried too, but the lock didn't open. Ada laughed awkwardly and said maybe it was stiff from newness. They decided to leave it till morning. But when she woke up, she noticed something else. Her neck had a faint mark around where the necklace rested, a light red line. She tried again to remove it, but it was as if the metal had become part of her skin. Fear began to grow in her heart, but she didn't say anything. She didn't want to sound strange on her first morning as a wife. Days turned into weeks, and the necklace was still on Ada's neck. She tried everything she could think of: soap, oil, even scissors, but nothing worked. The clasp never opened. Each time she tried too hard, her neck would burn slightly, leaving red spots behind. Tunde became worried and suggested they visit a jeweler to help cut it off. At the jewelry shop, the man examined the necklace carefully. He tried to find the lock but couldn't. He said the design was strange, almost as if it had no opening at all. He tried to cut it with a small tool, but the metal sparked and his hand shook. He looked frightened and said softly, "Madam, I think you should pray." Ada laughed nervously and said she was fine. But when they got home, she looked in the mirror and noticed the necklace had become tighter. It wasn't painful, but it felt heavier. Every time she slept, she dreamt of a woman she didn't recognize, a woman wearing the same necklace, crying silently. One night, Ada woke up sweating. The necklace felt hot. She touched it and felt it pulse like a heartbeat. She screamed, and Tunde rushed in. He tried again to remove it, but nothing worked. The next morning, he called Ada's elder sister, Ngozi, to come and see what was happening. When Ngozi arrived, she stared at the necklace quietly. After a while, she said, "Ada, do you know who gave you this gift?" Ada shook her head. Ngozi sighed and said, "I saw a woman drop that red box on your gift table." "I know her. She's one of Mum's cousins. They stopped talking years ago because of something that happened, and Ada's heart began to race. She asked, "What happened?" Ngozi replied, "She once said she would make sure no woman in our family enjoys her marriage." Ada froze. Her hands went cold. She realized it wasn't just jewelry, it was a trap. The next morning, Ada and Tunde went to their pastor. The pastor listened quietly as Ada explained everything, from the day of the wedding to the dreams and the burning sensation. He asked her to kneel and prayed for her, but nothing changed. The necklace was still there. He told them to fast and pray for 3 days. During those days, Ada's dreams became worse. She kept seeing the same woman wearing the same necklace, walking toward her slowly and whispering, "Now it's your turn." Ada would wake up crying each night. On the third night of the fast, Tunde decided to speak to an elderly woman in their street. Everyone called her Mama Nkechi. She was known for helping people with spiritual problems. When they arrived, Mama Nkechi looked at Ada once and shook her head. She said softly, "This is not ordinary. The person who gave you that necklace doesn't wish you peace." Ada started to cry. Mama Nkechi told them to bring a bowl of clean water and a Bible. She opened to Psalm 91 and asked Ada to read it aloud 3 times. As Ada read, the necklace began to feel cold against her skin. After the prayer, Mama Nkechi told them, "The necklace is bound by words spoken before your wedding. Until you find the person who gave it to you and return it, it will not leave your body." Ada felt weak. She didn't even know where to find the woman her sister had mentioned. Tunde promised to help. They went home that night quietly. Ada sat before the mirror and stared at her reflection. The necklace was still shining like new, but her eyes looked tired. She whispered to herself, "If this thing wants peace, I will give it peace." But deep down, she knew peace wasn't what it wanted. A week later, Ada and Tunde traveled to their village in Imo State. They went straight to visit the woman Ngozi had mentioned, their late mother's cousin, Auntie Ebere. When they arrived, Auntie Ebere was sitting outside her house, plaiting a young girl's hair. She looked up slowly when she saw them. Ada greeted her politely, but her voice was shaky. Auntie Ebere smiled faintly and said, "Ada, newly married woman, I heard your wedding was beautiful." Ada nodded and said, "Yes, Ma. Thank you. I came to ask about the gift you left for me." For a moment, silence filled the air. The woman stopped plaiting and stared at the necklace on Ada's neck. Her smile disappeared. She stood up and said, "So you wore it?" Ada said quietly, "Yes, I did." "It won't come off." Auntie Ebere looked away and sighed. "I told myself you wouldn't wear it. I didn't want to hurt you, but your mother hurt me. I warned her never to mock me about not having children. She called me cursed, so I promised that the daughters of her womb would taste pain in marriage." Tunde's eyes widened. "You mean you cursed this necklace?" Auntie Ebere looked down. "I didn't want to kill her, but anger pushed me. That necklace carries a word. Until it is broken by the same mouth that spoke it, it will stay." Tunde begged her to remove the curse. Auntie Ebere shook her head. "The words were sealed with blood, and I don't have the strength to undo it now. But if you both pray and forgive me, maybe heaven will." Ada felt weak. Tears rolled down her face. She said softly, "I forgive you." Auntie Ebere closed her eyes. Her lips moved slowly as she whispered, "Let it return to dust." At that moment, the necklace on Ada's neck began to loosen. She touched it gently, and it fell into her hands. When she looked up again, Auntie Ebere was still standing, but her eyes had closed. She had stopped breathing. Ada and Tunde stood frozen. Auntie Ebere's body was still, her head bowed as if asleep. Tunde checked for a pulse, but there was none. Ada dropped the necklace to the floor. It broke into 2 pieces without any effort. For a moment, the air felt lighter, as if something heavy had lifted. Tunde called the villagers for help. People gathered, whispering. The oldest woman in the compound said quietly, "It is over." She paid her own price. They buried Auntie Ebere that same evening. Ada stayed silent through it all. She could still feel the faint mark around her neck where the necklace had rested for weeks. That night, Ada slept peacefully for the first time in months. She had no dreams, no voices, and no heat around her neck. When she woke up, she felt free. She knelt beside her bed and thanked God for mercy. Tunde joined her. They prayed not only for peace in their home, but also for forgiveness for the woman who had caused them pain. A month later, Ada and Tunde returned to Lagos. She resumed her tailoring work and started attending church regularly. Every time she saw a bride wearing jewelry, she smiled slightly and said nothing. But in her heart, she remembered. She learned that not every gift is meant to be accepted, and not every hand that smiles at you wishes you well. Sometimes, protection comes from obedience, not beauty. As for the necklace, they never saw it again. Tunde buried it beside Auntie Ebere's grave before they left the village. And that's the story of Ney. The necklace that refused to be removed. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Daniel Folktales, where every tale holds a hidden lesson, and every echo reminds us that not all that shines is safe.